this as a case study. Do you mind if I record?
No.
Okay. As a case study. So I'm analyzing it as a building, trying to see how it's constructed and how it's written itself, and what are the references that are present within the text and the visual references and so on, and putting it afterwards in the medium context, so the context exactly of Ignacio de Sola Morales and the date in which it was presented, where it was presented, and so on, and then a larger context of where the ideas come from and how it's related to the larger context of the construction of Barcelona, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Olympic Games, and so on, to see if there is a connection, and afterwards how the text was received, how it was received, why it's so much quoted, and why this text became so much like the Bible of the terrain vague. Why did it become so important? And because there were other texts being written on similar topics, and the whole period of the 90s seemed to be revolving around such ideas that seemed appropriate to the new constructions of big spaces. So that's so I'm trying now to meet people here in Barcelona who are related to Ignacy and who knew what happened during the 90s and how it's, and of course each person has their own interpretation and their own idea of Ignacio de Sola Morales and their own idea of terrain vague, but it's nice to have all these voices So.
Okay. And this is for your thesis, not for
yes.
PhD thesis.
Okay, so sorry. Hi. I'm Lebanese originally. I did my bachelor in American University.
I know Beirut.
Yes.
I like it very much.
Pre-70s, post-70s?
Post-70s.
Okay, good.
Just now, I meet Beirut in the 90s, the late 90s.
Okay. Well, that was a good time.
Yeah.
That was a good period after the war. So I did my bachelor in the American University of Beirut, AUB.
Yes,
Okay, good. And then I did my master's in Politecnico di Milano, and I did a specialization master's in Paris La Villette. And now I'm doing my PhD in ETH, Zurich. So
probably you have a director of the...
Yes, Philipp Ursprung.
I don't know.
It's part of the history and theory architecture department.
Okay, so probably you meet Matteo sometimes in the...
Yes, I met him a few times, yes.
Okay.
But everyone is busy, so...
Sorry?
Everyone is very busy, so I try to meet whoever can meet.
Okay, so I think it's a very significant point. It's also important, or it was important, or it is still important. I was quite close to Ignacio Sola Morales. He was my professor in theory, history, architectural history, or composition. I don't remember the name of the item. It was composition or architectural history, theoretical matters. No? And after we were together as members of the Mies Foundation, we are members of the Council of the Mies Foundation, and we lunch one time each month, more or less, with Luis Ortet, that was the director until 1 year ago of the Mies Foundation. No? And we had years ago a talk with Jacques Herzog from Herzog and de Meuron, and I was talking about terrain vague, and he told me, how do you are using these words? And I remember I said, well, I think it's a way to describe this common situation, especially in Mediterranean cities or And he asked me, but did you invent this word? And I said, well, I don't know, I invented, but I think about that. And after, in these years, or in these months,
Yes.
I read from Ignacio Sola Morales some text talking about Terrenbach.
Yes.
And it was always a mystery for me.
Yes.
I, in some way, in an inconscient way,
Yes.
I hear from Ignacy the word, or several people, Herzog, Ignacy, myself, and
Yes.
probably others,
Yes.
we express something that was in the air,
Yes.
let me say. So
Yes.
I really don't remember myself discovering by reading a text or by talking with someone, Ignacy, the word. It was my interest. I felt in the middle of this kind of space, no? In this year. So it's an intellectual relationship, probably, but to be right. In fact, well, it was more a consciousness of a reality that a kind of communication that suggested me this word. But I can say this for sure. I am not sure, but it was not an intellectual interchange. I insist. It was my conscience. I want to be arrogant. That I invented this, and probably Ignacy invented at this time or days or months or years before. I don't know which is the first or the second. That's the question.
Do you remember, when did you have this discussion?
Yes, it was a lunch after he was building the Liceo. You know that he was the architect of the new Liceo. He was building the Liceo. We met at the Ramblas. We were Luis Ortet and myself, and we were going Ramblas direction to the sea, to the harbor. And Ignacy came from the Liceo, very, I don't know the name in English, sudado, with
sweating.
Yeah, sweating. And we said, Ignacy, what happens? Oh, it's a very hard work because it's very complicated, economical problems. And I thought, he looks very tired. Okay, we go to lunch, and we go to lunch, and as usually we talk after the lunch, and we talk about this Terrenbach, and I said, no, Terrenbach. But it was a thing that it was also my thing.
Yes, of course.
More the theoretical way. Not theoretical. I always like to mix theory and action.
And action,
is the best pleasure in our task, no?
In our profession, yes.
So, and also, I said, in Herzog, in the same years, we were talking about this, and he asked me if it was an idea from me, I don't know, but I really think about that because it's my ordinary life.
Yes.
So,
well, do you remember the year?
Wow. No, I think it was in the late 80s probably.
Okay.
I think, because after it was impossible to meet anymore Herzog because he became so busy.
Yeah. Okay.
Making buildings around the world that it was not easy to maintain a relationship with Herzog. So I think it was before the 90s. Because I remember when I got the commission of the Valle de Lebrón, I was aware of these theoretical items, which I was not innocent.
Yes.
But I remember myself innocent when I thought in the first time in my language about this a name to describe this thing.
Yes.
I remember seeing the film from Wim Wenders'
Himmel über Berlin.
In Berlin.
Yes.
That I liked it very much. It was also a very standard discussion with Matteo. Because I liked the first part of the film, and he likes the second part of the film.
With Matteo.
With Matteo. And I always say, how do could appreciate the second part. This is very boring, and he told me, but the first part is irrelevant. The important one is the second part. What was it? It was a standard discussion about this kind of movie, you know. So, and I like very much the first part of the second part with the colored part. No, I like the first one, and this ambience around the wall, no.
Yes.
And also the angels, all this ambience was very fascinating for me, because in fact it's the kind of spaces that we are related in some way. For instance, very very soon in the 81, I think 81, we got Matteo and myself, that in this period we worked. In this period we worked together. We got a commission about the La Bastida, one school in the periphery of the periphery. I mean, Santa Coloma de Gramenet is a periphery, a city in the periphery of Barcelona. In the periphery of Santa Coloma de Gramenet, we got a commission to build a big school, a professional school, and etc. And it was a totally periphery. And I think it was one of the first meetings with this reality. Of course, we knew it, because there are in these years there are many of these kind of spaces around Barcelona, in some way inside Barcelona also, where it was not something that was new for us. It was new for us, but the professional duty to interpret this in order to be able to build something in there, I think push us to consider this kind of nature, urban nature, no? But probably the entrance was maybe La Bastida, probably it was the first serious thought, or provoked the first serious thoughts about periphery, because this professional commission. And without words, we are not with the background of the Rembrandt, or no, we just think about the place, the situation, and etc. No?
Yes.
I think this is quite important. I don't know if it's important or not, but it's important for me, because I think at least, yes, myself, I don't know, Matteo, I am not, I think first of all is the professional relationship with the reality, and after there is an intellectual approach, let me say.
Yes.
I think is my way.
Yes.
Of course, I like the theoretical thought, and I like it, but I like it just to play with this. When I got a commission, so that the serious become, the play becomes serious. No?
Yes.
And it's through the commission, the duty of the commission, that I think I used to transform the play, the previous play, in something more ordered and prepare it to action.
Yes.
I really don't like to be, let me say, to be in an ordinary life, to be serious, or to be always conscious about. I prefer just to go.
You cannot. I don't
here.
think it's possible anyway.
I think it's a way to get more, it's a way to more information.
Yes.
No? Because if you are continuously fabricating ideas, the ideas, I think, are closing to you to get more inputs.
Yes.
So I prefer not be ultra conscious about what I am living or thinking or experimenting. But when there is a commission, all these backgrounds become ordered.
Yes.
And so without commissions, probably I didn't write a book, for instance. But the commission imposed a structure to these different inputs.
Yes.
So I think that La Bastida probably was put ourselves in front of the periphery situation, and probably yes, the first in between the 80 and the 90, it was when we talk. We started to use these words, no? Terrain bag, periphery, and another urban void.
Yes.
Urban void also.
Yes. Yeah, you wrote a text in Quaderns called Urban Void,
Yeah.
and in the text you also mention the text of Ignacy, but that's not about the same topic. It's about just evolution of urban fabric, and yeah, I found it very interesting because it came a few years before Terrain Vague, and somehow the thoughts. That's why I kind of came up with the conclusion that it was in the period everyone was kind of thinking about it. That, I mean, texts were somehow very close.
Imagine that in these years the official theory was more or less the Russian war, no? The Italian theory. No?
Rossi.
Aldo Rossi.
Yes.
But it was fantastic, but he was talking about the center of the city in some way. The important, the central spaces, the significant spaces.
Yes.
So we had this theory, but the commission that the young architects got in this moment were in the periphery. So it was not very useful.
Yes.
This baggage of ideas, etc. So we should to improvise in some way. Some instruments, no, in order to afford the situation. No?
Okay.
And the thing is, these instruments were not existing; were creating at the same time. So
while working.
Yeah, by working and by Well, after there was a coincidence, no, but
of course.
Herzog, we met Herzog in the Melon because we published in Quaderns a very single house that he built at the beginning of their career. So we met Herzog not through big ideas about void and drawing back, nothing. Just because we appreciated this little house.
Yes.
And after, step by step, well, we became interested in this kind of urban nature.
Yes.
But it was a thing that happened.
Yes. There are people who mention that there's a contrast between, or a complementary image between the Olympic Games and how structured it was, and kind of the complementary image of people thinking about voids and terrain vague. Does it seem to be the case for you? Do you think it was?
Well, when I got the commission of the Valle de Lebron, I was aware about this discussion about the terrain vague, because it's still the 80s, because the Olympics were in the 92. And we started 6 years before. 6 years before.
Yes.
Just talking. Talking. And when I got this commission from Boiga, that was the architect and responsible of the Olympic, of the urban affairs in Barcelona, I remember when I got this commission, I thought, fantastic, I could experiment these ideas we were talking about. So it means that in 86 we are not innocents in about the theoretical approaches about the terrain vague, about urban void, etc. So I remember I felt happy because I think, okay, fantastic opportunity to afford this situation.
Yes. And did it lead somewhere?
Sorry?
Were you able to?
You mean the project?
To experiment, yes.
Yeah.
To Could you describe a bit what happened, if you remember?
I think the Valle de Lebron, it was a success. I won the FAD prize, that is the main important architectural prize in Spain, and the oldest one. FAD is FAD.
Yes, FAD,
Fomento de las
there's
Artes
the
Decorativas.
school or something.
And the school.
Yes, or a center.
Well, the center now is in the Glorious Square, in the hub,
Yes.
the Glorious Square.
Yes.
It's a 60 years old organization
Well.
created after the Civil War, when the order of college was prohibited by Franco, etc. It was created as a very modest club of modern architects.
Okay.
And he got a lot of prestige because one of the reasons is its origins, almost secret. So it's the main and the oldest and the most prestigious architectural Spanish prize, and I won it in the 92 when all the Olympics projects were done, were candidates, and I won. And I didn't go. I was so radical that I was in this moment that I was against prizes. So the jury called me at home by night, and he told me, "You won the Miss Prize. We are expecting you here." They said, "No, I didn't come."
Those were good times.
No, no, but I think this project was very successful, but the result is a failure as a urban space. As a urban space, the project is a failure. It's a check. It doesn't work. Because it was not only a project, it was a project and a process. I mean, to maintenance, for example, the maintenance of this couldn't be a standard maintenance like you maintain Plaza Catalunya. It's different. And the mayor, Maragall, he was a fantastic
I met him.
mayor in person. He was fantastic. He came many Sundays because we worked also in Sundays because we were very work to do in a short time. He came to the center of the commandment of the work some Sundays, and we talk about Lebron, about things, and I convinced him that the maintenance of this should be a new structure. We make, because Maragall charges it and pay it to us. A study about the things that should be checked every day, every 2 days, every week, every month, every year, every 2 years, 5 years. The level of the workers involved in this maintenance, the prices. It was a progressive maintenance. Okay. In the Valle de Lebron there are many pipes and many infrastructures of energy in order to, for instance, to celebrate rock concerts, rock meetings. There are many energy to connect the guitars, etc. To use these big planes to this. There are also the possibility to put shops inside. It is a structure. The project is not a image, a finished image. It's just a structure prepared to accept change of uses, different uses, shops, concerts, meetings, to be transformed. But it was the idea but the problem was that Maragall left the municipality, the church of mayor, and the ancient, the old structure came back again. And I remember perfectly the interview that I had with these people when Maragall disappeared. And they came and to talk with me about the maintenance of Valladolid, and I explained it to the boss.
Yes.
This idea, there is things that should be maintained every day, this is the level of the people, the cost, and after my speech they say, no, the first 2 years we didn't do nothing, it's not necessary. After the first 2 years we start with the maintenance. I said, no, this is a wrong idea, it's a wrong way. You have to maintain from the beginning. It's cheaper. You think that it's more expensive. No, it's cheaper. Because it's true that you spend money from the first day, but the money at the end is much less than the money that you will spend if you wait 2 years to get the things destroyed.
Yes.
So they did exactly this, and after 2 years, without any maintenance, there are many things destroyed.
Yes.
So they didn't have money enough to rebuild this destruction over 2 years, so started
deteriorating.
So the ambition, this is a problem, I think, in this country. The ambition has a sense if it is maintained. You can live only by flashes of ambition every 5 years or every 10 years. The ambition should be maintained.
Yes.
If not, it is a nonsense.
Yes.
I think it's one a lesson that we can get from the Olympics.
Yes.
I don't know if we did it.
I agree. It's the level of politics and this whole discussion is very important. I mean, it goes along with the economical level, and it goes along with the politics and economy and the social level, because going back to the theme, Morales does not seem to mention so much the political level, because he goes in the text, he goes on from photography and the arts, photography, films and exhibitions, photomontage. Then he moves on to a very etymological explanation of the words and what do they mean and what do they refer to as words, to put down this concept of terrain vague. And then he moves on to describe a social aspect, and he describes a culture, more or less cultural aspect, and then a very architectural urban aspect. So he talks about the city being estranged and why these spaces are important within the system of the city, because they're out of the city, and a very social aspect of it. And then he moves on to discuss what could architecture and urbans do on such spaces, and he proposes a vague solution about focusing on continuity and discontinuity. But it seemed to me that the political aspect of this whole discussion is missing, that yes, I mean, there are these spaces within the city and they're out of the system, and the politics seem to be going hand in hand with colonizing architecture, the way he says it. But it stops at that, and I think what you're saying now is a bit of complementary to this discussion, that the aspects of the politics in Barcelona were changing in a way that it was not so easy to include it as a discussion within such a theme. I don't know.
Yeah. It's true. I think there are several aspects. Yes, I think it was a people, by chance, I don't know exactly why, that, like Maragall, that he was prepared to live in the exceptionality, so to maintain the tension for a long period. I think it is needed. It was needed. It is still needed, but there are only a few at the end. And after these big moments around the 80s and 90s, well, I don't know exactly what exactly happened, but some people considered that it was enough. It was enough to maintain the ambition for a period, and now, well, we are in the ordinary life.
Yes.
And this was a very big failure, I think. And also, talking about Ignasi, think that the Ignacy way, I think, is very, 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 very theoretical.
Yes.
I think he probably started from the pensiero d'Evole. No?
Yes.
Not as maybe architects in practice like me, for instance, that we are dealing with these spaces.
Dealing with this space.
Because, as I said, one young architect in the last 70s or first 80s, all the commissions that you could imagine were in these spaces.
Yes.
So we really negotiate with these spaces.
Yes.
And it means that, well, it was not an intellectual derive.
Yes.
It was a need. It was a vital,
A direct.
yes, a direct relationship with this.
Yes.
We were interested probably in the intellectual approaches to these problems because we needed it
Yes.
in order to imagine how it's possible to
Yes.
transform, etc., to deal with this reality.
Yes.
And I think the way of Ignacy was a different one. He was an architect in practice, but not very much.
Yes.
Not very much.
Yes, he was more of a theoretician.
He was also graduating in philosophy, if I
Yes.
remember.
Yes. Yes.
And his way was a very theoretical one. So, and it was very useful, of course. No, but it's another. I think it's another intellectual attitude, very complementary. Yes. It was very exciting to talk with him. No? And probably, I imagine for Ignacy was also interesting to talk with young people like us that were in the middle of action. No?
Yes. Were you at the UEA?
Sorry?
Were you at the UEA, the Congress, the 96th, the Universal International Architecture Congress that happened in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Part of the 4 bigger themes was terrain vague.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you were there.
Yeah.
You went there?
Yes, but not very close, I think.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't know why. Probably I disappointed with something.
Okay. All right. No. Yeah. But, because I don't know so much about what happened, so I'm trying to see, like, to ask people who were there, what impression that they got.
And what did people say?
Well, it seemed that the people who, it's hard to say, but I think the people who were very much interested in theory, it inspired them a lot. And then it was divided by topics, so people who were interested in habitat went to the habitat, and I didn't get so much about the terrain vague section because, like, the people here that I'm talking to are not closely related to this topic.
Exactly.
Yes.
I am remembering. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think in general terms I am not very comfortable with Congress. Of course, there are many types of Congress, etc.
Yes.
But the idea of Congress is not very, very sympathetic for me because
It's too large.
Yeah, too large, and I think in the bottom of the idea of Congress is the idea of, okay, let's see what is this thing of periphery. We will learn very much with this Congress. And we felt in these years in a modest way, but in the center of action. And there was not, by fortune, there was not a close theory. It was a live theory.
Yes.
It was growing and fighting,
yes.
etc. And when I heard, we will make a Congress, people that were not really mixed in the real action.
Yes.
I not only mean projects,
yes,
Ignacy was totally mixed in this. It was with a personal interest in this. I mean personal interest in the personal compromise, not,
Yes.
not an intellectual reflection to up-to-date yourself. No, something that is part of your life.
Yes.
It's because, well, Congress, yes, okay, make a Congress.
Okay, yes.
we felt not very close.
Okay, yeah. Not directly related to the...
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting because I also have to put a section related to how these notions were received, and I have this question that how much was it useful as a tool for practicing architects and for people actually dealing with these spaces, and I don't know, was
well, I think one of the in my opinion, one of the main part of the charm of the periphery, of the turn back,
yes.
is that the solutions are not pre-existing.
Yes.
This is the great new.
The potential.
Exactly.
Yes.
Are not pre-existing. You have to really create it.
Yes.
And this is great. No?
Yes.
And because there are heterogeneous elements that you have to take in a very particular order that is different in
Yes.
any case.
Yes.
And this is, I think, any project, if you take it seriously as a particular conditions, but in the periphery is obvious.
Yes.
It's obvious and it's very rich. You know? And the more the periphery was considered a kind of standard, or the touring bike is considered, the less it was interesting for me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
As a topic,
Uh-huh.
it seems that the charm of this topic is that it's an untouchable topic. It's a topic that is always running
evasive.
forward, exactly, forward. No? And this is the great thing of periphery. So Congress and some intellectuals try to make a pact with the periphery. No, we have the pact. Okay,
Yes.
the pact periphery. Next pact.
Yes.
And I prefer to maintain.
I haven't thought about that before. Interesting.
But it's an acting today. I don't pretend to.
Yeah, but I'm interested in opinions. To hear the voices of people who were involved. Okay. But so you think that with time these ideas became locked?
Look,
Like Terran
yes,
now,
no,
for example.
but it's, I think at the end a repertoire, no?
Yes.
A box of tools that was created, and
Yes.
more or less the periphery was structured as central square could be a structural item. No?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
First of all, in the first years it was the architectural ordinary places and problems, and the periphery that is poor, disordered, without clear laws of nothing, etc. And now I think the periphery is in the same conditions, the periphery itself.
Yes.
But architects, they think that they got the formula made by some parts of arte povera, some parts of material that you can imagine related to peripheria, some shape, etc. Well, a mix of the existing solutions. No?
Okay. Okay. Well, I think. Yeah. Do you find it still inspiring as a topic?
Inspiring, you mean?
Inspiring.
The theory,
Yes.
theory,
The idea of
no, the
emotional
idea. I
impact.
think the interesting thing, I think for not for me, I think for a real architect, let me
Yes.
say, for a real
Yes.
architect, is that any problem
Yes.
has a previous solution. Any problem is specific.
Yes.
Also to make a house in the Piazza di Popolo.
Yes.
Also, the more predetermined standard is, in fact, is a specific situation.
Yes.
That this is a great thing of our profession.
Uh-huh.
At the periphery, this is obvious.
Yes.
I think one of the main qualities of the periphery, this
Yes.
is obvious. So
Yes.
it's so strong the specificity of each part of the periphery, because it depends of very open laws and some of them very visible laws that you don't know if you are discovering or creating.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
these are, it's also ambiguous.
On the edge.
Yes, exactly. And it's a kind of appeal, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
but they like also very much to work in the center of things. So,
Yes. Of course, but I understand. Okay. I think.
I find. Do you know this book?
Sorry. I had to read it.
Yes,
I
because
wanted to read it.
there is some writings related with this
I
site.
think someone mentioned it, or
This
I
is
found
previous
it.
to coming from the south of Africa. La question of city, Barcelona, attitude, study spaces,
okay.
the urban void.
Uh-huh.
The genius loci are no longer among us, future Naples against picturesque memorandum.
I think either I saw it or someone mentioned it. I wanted to check it.
No, I did it for you.
Oh, okay. Wow, thank you. Well, that's great.
The urban
Like
void, for
Christmas
instance.
gifts.
The space, the city, this is offline. The city.
Oh, the one, Laguillo.
Malaguillo, yes. Also a very. Do you know the Malaguillo?
I know. I mean, I know his photography, but I don't meet him.
If you are interested, I can introduce. We are very close friends.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes.
But I would really like to meet him because
Okay.
he was interested very much in these spaces, and
Yes, he was my photographer.
I already sent him an email asking to meet him, but he's not in Barcelona now. He's in Madrid. He
Yes,
replied.
but I could send to him a mail.
Yes.
Recommending.
Yes, that would be
the
great.
interview.
Yes.
And in fact, I have his telephone number.
Okay.
If you want it, I can.
But I mean, it's probably not polite to take his telephone number.
But I think he will be interested.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, he told me if I'm going to Madrid, I can meet him there, but I'm not going. But I will be here in January, and I wouldn't mind meeting him in January.
I met him 10 days ago or something.
Okay.
And he took the photographies of by the Lebron and
Yes.
we are friends because he's a man with an incredible vision of architecture.
Yes.
He got his first commission from me in a building. There was several buildings, more or less in a forest in the periphery, in the beautiful periphery of Barcelona. Not this strong periphery.
Okay.
The beautiful countryside. In the countryside of Barcelona.
Yes.
It was a forest in the middle, a kind of prison for young people.
Okay.
But built in a way that is not seems a prison. Some pavilions, etc.
Yeah, wow.
And I saw some from Laguillo, and I appreciate it, and I
Okay.
call him, and we visit the place. First
Okay.
visit just to first contact, and just arriving, he told me, it is an Arabic space, and I think it's true, but there is nothing
Arabic
apparently
space.
Arabic, nothing apparently Arabic. Nothing.
Was it courtyard oriented
No,
or?
but this was my idea, a kind of, let me say, a kind of transparencies, at least
Yes.
for a Western, more or less Western.
Yes.
For me was Arabic.
But the idea.
Any architect that visited this building never say this similar to this Arabic. And Manolo Laguillo just arriving,
Yes.
he said, this is Arabic space.
Okay.
Immediately he got it. And we became friends because and it was fantastic because he was taking photographies for 1 day or 2, I don't know, and he was beside him just talking about architecture because he read so well, at least my architecture this piece of my architecture. I think also by Lebron is totally different of this school. He understood perfectly the intention.
Shows from his photography that he has a very architectural eye.
Yeah. I think
It's
so.
impressive.
I think so.
Yeah, if you could ask him if he has
Well,
time
I
in
will ask
January,
him.
that would be
He
great.
will ask him if I can give to you his telephone number.
Okay, yes. That would be good.
Of course, he will accept. You are being here until the 28th?
I'm here until 28 December and then I will come back on 13 January.
Okay, so.
So maybe I can meet him in January.
You can, okay. Anyway, well, I will send to him a mail recommending you and asking.
I'll remind you if you forget. Okay. Yes. I think that should be okay for now. And
maybe I talked too much.
No. I prefer when people talk more. The more, the better for me.
No, because I appreciate very much your intention and your proposal.
Yes.
Because one thing that I appreciate very much is to remember. I think there is a kind of apparently continuous progression of changes. No? I think this to go to see back and to say, okay, we will take this piece, this thing, and we'll rethink or reconsider or see it just to see again. Or see now.
Exactly. I think people now are more interested in smaller, fragmented spaces within the city, alternative, interstitial, and so on. And that was my initial point, interest. But then it seemed to me that going back to seeing how terrain vague evolved as a topic and why people shifted it into this idea of interstitial, I think there's a path to describe, and that's what I'm trying to do. But not being from Barcelona and trying to understand what's happening, that's why I'm trying to talk to the people too, so that I don't get my own extraterrestrial idea of what's happening. And
and also people from my age, for instance, this void, etc. It was a pain for us because I remember the Barcelona of the 50s, of course, but also in the 60s, that you are many times going through these spaces, these terrain vague, and they were ugly and sad. And, so I think we had a very personal relationship with these spaces. It's not an intellectual experience. It is a real. For instance, I think something similar I felt in Beirut, for instance.
Definitely.
So you are going through spaces that are
heavy.
moves you in some way, no?
Yes. I think that's why I got interested in the topic, probably.
I can understand perfectly.
Yes, and also, well, personally, now Beirut is going through a tremendous amount of construction that is really not thought. And any small space, like people, see these interstitial spaces in the city, and they know that it will become a big, ugly building soon. So they look at it almost with a nostalgic feeling, like, oh, look at the space, it's so nice, it's empty, now someone's gonna come and just put a disaster there.
And it happens.
And it's happening. And now that I'm not living in Beirut, every year I go once or twice, and the change between 1 year and, like, Hamra, I don't know if you remember the street of Hamra.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the street where I spent all my life, and now every year I go, it's like, they destroy, like, it's like all these spaces where I would walk next to when I was young. Now it's a huge ugly thing that covers the light, and sun is much less in the city now because all these big stupid towers.
Exactly.
And they're not even constructed well, and they look like it's a disaster. So.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's a political problem. Well, it's not an architectural problem.
Yeah.
It's politics are destroying the whole thing,
and you have to resolve. They have to resolve the question of traffic, because the traffic
could be resolved easily. They should just make transport.
Yeah,
we don't have public transport.
Exactly. Because I remember that I was usually 3 years ago, I was in a hotel very close to a space.
Yes.
And one Sunday, I get the street from the hotel. We got the street from the hotel, and I didn't recognize the space where like a science fiction film, where I am.
Yes.
And the space in front of the hotel was a square, but I was not aware of this because they are so full of cars.
Yes.
That when I got out of the hotel, I see just cars. But it was a square.
Yes.
But the square, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
Only the Sundays.
Yes.
But it's extraordinary.
Yes, we have the highest amount, like, I'm sorry to say this, but we have the highest amount of car per person in the world.
The most revolutionary decision in the city is to improve the public space and the public
transport. Yes. But it's a political issue. They could, but they don't want. No one wants to. They know that the politics is gonna change, or we're gonna have another political issue and crisis. So they know that if they put like new transport systems, the new people who are gonna come are so delinquent that they're gonna not maintain it, and then it's gonna really deteriorate very easily, and it's not a good project. Before we have a political system that's running in a more or less normal way, where everyone agrees on something, then we can do such projects. But before, and as soon as you become 18 years old in Lebanon, you start asking for your car. Like my brother, when he was 16, telling my mom, "So the car, 18, huh? Yeah, yes, no." He didn't get it, but Yes.
Okay.
This
is for you.
Thank you very
much.
Or
you have coming from the south, no?
Sorry?
No, this book, you have this book when you talk about this. So
yes.
You have this.
Yes.
Okay. So it is older.
Thank you. No, but older is not a bad thing for me. Yes. I'm interested in not in the now, but rather in 10 years ago, so 10, 20. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your interest.
And I'll keep you in the light of what's happening.
Okay.
And if you can talk to Manolo, that would be perfect.
Yes. I will immediately.
Okay.
No?
Yes.
Now I will send
Great.
a mail.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll remind you, I'll send you an email in case.
Okay,
Alright.
don't hesitate, you can
Yes.
remind me, but I will do
Okay,
it.
okay, alright. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
It's tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow.
Celebrate on 25.
Yes, 25, and here in Catalonia 25 and 26.
Oh, okay.
So this is San Esteban. I don't know the name. I don't know the name in English. San Esteban. I don't know what you know why it is San Esteban. That is fantastic place to be besides the 25. But it's only here. It's only here. Not in Madrid. Not in only in San Esteban.
Well, I'll ask people. I have some very Catalan stuff. And they probably know.
Yeah. Yes. Probably. Yes. Okay. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
And,
Bye bye.
yeah,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.